So also kind of on the topic of celebrity, I wanted to do a brief review of a documentary. I do that once in a while. Introducing Selma Blair. As a child of the 80s who then went off to college in the 90s, of course, I knew who Selma Blair was. That was the era of about Sarah Michelle Gellar. Oh, Cruel Intentions, Wild Things, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Legally Blonde eventually. This whole era of those were the people that were like college age when I was college age. I knew who Selma Blair was. I can honestly say I can't say, she was never someone that you're like, wow, that movie has Selma Blair in it. We have to go see it. She was in a lot of those films that you enjoyed, but honestly, I don't remember anyone in that era being the selling point. We were never like, wow, there's a new Janine Garofalo movie or whatever, but you might see one with Janine Garofalo. It wasn't until I was hanging out on Instagram looking for an alternative to Facebook a couple of years ago that I came across Selma Blair's Instagram. I had no idea that she was battling illness when I found it. I learned that obviously soon after. I hung around on Instagram for a long time to watch her Instagram posts when I wanted to get off of Instagram otherwise. I do look for it under, the updates on fan sites and other groups on other social media. And then I knew they were working on the documentary, and then the documentary came out. In a world that we live in now, where there is so much negativity about celebrity and famous people because social media, we hear about them so much and we hear their inner thoughts and we hear their random crazy takes on things, and people that we used to respect, we just really don't respect anymore, or we're at the level of we downright hate them. That's sort of just the way that it's gone in the culture. But the whole Selma Blair thing is just amazing. And if you haven't followed the sequence of events online, at least see the documentary. When someone does a documentary about an illness and how it's affecting someone, you kind of there's a lot of weird expectations, right? Like, it's not a very common thing to do, although there's a lot of shows and talk shows where like, let's see what it's like to live like this, whatever, very superficial. But to do a whole documentary about an individual going through their illness, you expect a lot of, oh, woe is me, this is Oscar-worthy performer, whatever, or, isn't it terrible that they are such a talent, or here's the suffering of this disease. And it's hard to even put into words what the documentary introducing Selma Blair actually is or what it did. But it makes you a part of the experience in a way that feels deeply personal. In a world where you can follow celebrities on Twitter and you see their random takes on the Supreme Court or whatever, and you know their immediate thoughts, and yet none of that feels personal because it's all within the categories of what we support or don't, what we believe in or don't, what we vote for or don't, this. And obviously I wouldn't take a quiz, compare notes with Selma Blair over what our belief systems are, but it kind of skips all that. It's a deeply human and personal. The feeling is she has invited you into her life to share in this. And it isn't by the end that you feel like you pity her. It isn't that woe is her that this happened to her or that this happens to people. You get the sense of her strength and her dignity facing it, but also her vulnerability and the struggle. And it is not easy to put into words, but you feel like you know her in a way that is far more than what somebody tweeted or what somebody said here, or even if you met a celebrity and got their autograph. It's more than a biography of a life. It's much more. In the end, she's done something incredible. And my take on it is, and obviously there's a film crew, there's people involved in this, but what they have done, they have produced something that's going to be, it's going to be the lasting legacy of Selma Blair. Not because her acting wasn't good or her movies weren't good, but the very superb way in which this part of her life story, that she's willing to be open and honest and raw, but not whiny, again, it's so hard to put into words, but it's happening and it's filmed. And thanks to digital technology and the internet, it's not something that will ever disappear. It remains a part of the accessible sort of shared experience. And it's hard to describe how much it makes you care, but again, not in a pity this person sort of way, but an oh my God, I am so moved that you shared this with me personally, even though millions of people are going to view it. I ultimately can't say enough good stuff about it. It's an incredible documentary. And the whole way that she's dealt with this on social media, that she's allowed her fans and people like me that didn't know much about her, allowing us to share this with her, and in this way that is not demanding sympathy, it's just incredible stuff. And I can't recommend it enough.